This is More to Say with Randy Naughton. Interesting conversations with interesting people.
And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand. When everything's made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am.
Hey everybody, welcome into More to Say with Randy Naughton. We really appreciate your support along the way, more than a year now with our podcast. And we're so grateful that you're with us. And listen, if you want to follow along with all of our shenanigans, we are all over social media, every social media place you can think of. Like, subscribe, YouTube, all that good stuff. We'd love to have you there. And of course, we'd like to thank all of our sponsors, STL Medical Weight Loss, one of our newest ones, the Lemp Mansion in St. Louis, which is one of the most haunted places in all of North America. Team Jakey, one of our newest ones. It is an organization that promotes mental health and wellness and suicide prevention. Their story's pretty amazing, and you'll be hearing more about them as well. And of course, the Mostly Superheroes podcast with our podcast partner, Logan Janis, who's on the line as well. And I cannot tell you how thrilled I am to have our next guest with us. I have known them, and I do air quotes for this, literally like 40-ish years. The Goo Goo Dolls, of course, Grammy-nominated band who's been around forever, hit after hit. You know them. They've been on tour. We welcome Robby Takac, Western New Yorker, as I am, to the show. Robby, thank you so much for agreeing to join us. We appreciate it.
It is great to be here with you, man. It's been a long time since we've spoken, you know?
Holy cow.
I know.
There is a bit of a provenance about our trajectory. I ended up being in the TV news business for 40 years after leaving Buffalo. And of course, you and your band, the Goo Goo Dolls, did what you did, world domination in the rock and roll scene. Do you remember where we met?
Probably on your bed, right?
No.
Wasn't it?
Before that,
okay.
and I'll explain to everybody who's going, what the? No, there was a studio in Buffalo, a recording studio called Trackmaster Studios.
Yes, which I own now.
I know that, it blew me away. I was going back and forth working in radio in Buffalo, doing some commercials for audio commercials for a local department store. And you and George and Robby were inside Trackmaster Studio recording something. And you were always so nice to me. Hi, Randy. And then one day you gave me a cassette. And you said, hey, this is some of our new music. And I heard of you guys on the music scene in Buffalo. And you go, hey, would you mind playing this on your show? And for those who don't know, back in Buffalo, I had a TV show, late night Friday TV show called Randy's Cat's Pajamas or Randy's Pajama Party. It had two names. That's where the bed comes from.
Yeah.
So basically we ended up talking, and I said, will you guys come on my show? And do you know, Robby, that was your very first ever TV appearance?
Yeah, and I have to say, like, I see that often.
I do too.
It's often brought up because that was really the first time that anyone had bothered to talk to us, about anything. And
so I'm responsible, is what you're saying.
Well, we really appreciated it. I mean, we were flying under the radar back then for sure.
Yeah, and that, because we were broadcasting from Buffalo, it reached up into Canada. And for those who don't know, this clip is all over YouTube. This is from Randy's Cat's Pajama, I believe, circa 1984. Here is a quick clip of the Goo Goo Dolls' very first TV appearance with yours truly. Take a look.
Welcome back to the Cat's Pajamas. Well, the Goo Goo Dolls is a band from Buffalo, and these guys are really hip. I mean, as you can see, they're cool. They got the hairstyles and all that stuff. They have an album out entitled The Goo Goo Dolls. This is Robby, this is John, and this is George, the Goo Goo Dolls. Why don't you guys explain your music?
Real fast, real loud. Skate kids like it.
Skate kids. What's a skate kid?
Skate kids are these little kids that ride skateboards, and they wear like flowered shorts or whatever. Flannel.
Okay.
They're just into
loud, fast music, and that's what that is.
I see. So this record was recorded entirely in Buffalo at Trackmaster Studios, correct?
3 days.
In 3 days. Wow, that is a record. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's pretty
They
funny.
called us on Tuesday and had the record Friday.
No kidding. Guys, I'm impressed. So this is getting some airplay around the country, right?
Mhm.
Where?
Philadelphia, Los Angeles, I think, Chicago. It got picked up by a syndicated show called Z-Rock, and they're playing it 4 times in a 4-hour show. So
Wow.
Yeah, so
That's a lot of airplay.
Yep.
That's a lot of airplay.
plus you can buy it any place you can buy a Springsteen record.
Hey, thanks for coming on, really. I appreciate it.
And we'd like to say hi to Artie and David Watts.
I already.
Hey, David Watts, they're cool. They're cool. We're giving away tickets to their show this week.
they brought you flowers. We brought you flowers too, but they're too big.
Yeah, we couldn't
They're
get
still
them
in
in
my
the door.
car.
You hear that,
They
David?
couldn't get them in the door.
You hear that?
They're big.
So once again, thanks guys for coming on the show. We're going to get back into the Twilight Zone Marathon. I'm going to go hit the phones, and hopefully you're going to win an album and a poster. We'll see you later.
Now, I don't know if you'll notice, but I had a very severe Western New York accent at the time, which I've since gotten rid of. People see that and they go, "Oh my gosh, your accent." I've since lost that unbelievable Western New York accent. So after you guys appeared on
Not all
TV
of it. Not all of it. Most of it.
I have some of it. I do come back once in a while. And, if you look in it, our hair was all it was 80s, man. Our hair was all sticking out every which way. So we kept Aquanet in business. Let's put it that way. So I don't know if you even remember, but what did that appearance do for you guys? Did people recognize you more? Did you get more people at the gigs? I know
Well-
it reached into Canada and a lot of people there saw it.
Yeah, I mean, we were a group that, as I had mentioned, we were in a little bubble here in Buffalo, and that was right around the time that we didn't even have our first album out yet. We had just recorded a few songs at Trackmaster. I used to go there during the evenings
Right.
when the place was closed and record all night and drink, hang out, have fun, and then the next morning, we get the place cleaned up and it would go again. So I mean, we didn't have a lot of we weren't looking for that much civic, a widespread
Acceptance,
mainstream
yeah.
acceptance. At that point, we were pretty happy with the little bubble we lived in, and we had some friends who were in bands who were making a living, and that was pretty amazing. We had never seen anything like that before, from people that we knew, just rock stars, not guys from around town, but there were actually some guys around town that were out touring and making some money. So we had them to, and when I say making money, not much of it.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, for
but
sure.
but they were surviving. But we got to see and watch these people do these things. So when it came time for us to be out there and actually play for more mainstream audiences, and that was right around when we started to when we made the appearance on your show, we had a record out all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And we were one of the few bands in town that had a record out. So it opened up a lot of doors for us, and especially appearances like that, The Edge at the time was really cool with us. Actually, they were called the Fox at the time, and
Right.
yeah, and they would play our records every once in a while. And there was a pirate radio station in town, so people in Buffalo thought we were much bigger than we were. But we had a lot of friends in town, yourself included, who really lifted our band up and maybe put us in some places where we maybe
Cool.
didn't deserve to be, but we were, bold enough to go and, make it happen.
Well, it's time for another Lemp History Minute, sponsored by the Lemp Mansion in St. Louis. Did you know that in 1980, Time magazine published an article in which they named the Lemp Mansion in St. Louis one of the most haunted places in all of North America? Many say the Lemp Mansion is haunted because 4 members of the very wealthy and successful Lemp family died in that mansion, 3 of them by suicide. Now, since those days, many people have dined at the mansion or even stayed overnight, had events there, and a lot of them sort of reported some very eerie occurrences. Faces peering out of windows, unexplained eerie events, noises being picked up by paranormal equipment. Today, the Lemp Mansion is thriving as a restaurant, as an event space, as a really cool place to go for all the fun events they put on, scavenger hunt, boozy bingo, tours, you name it. And this is the perfect time of the year to book you and your friends at the Lemp Mansion, whether it's just to have a lunch or a dinner, or if you dare, stay overnight. And if you haven't visited the Lemp in a while, do check them out and all the great events they have. Their website, lempmansion.com. Hi, Randy Naughton here, along with Dr. Joseph Molesky, to tell you about St. Louis Medical Weight Loss. You heard about those weight loss shots? Well, I battle high blood pressure, cholesterol, and prediabetes, so I decided to invest in my health.
Visit stlmedweightloss.com or give us a call.
Hey, it's Randy. If you or someone you know is struggling with their mental health, there is help. You can reach out for that help immediately by calling the 988 Suicide and Crisis Hotline. You can chat with them, you can text with them, or talk to them on the phone 24/7, and it's all confidential. Now, Team Jakey is a local organization in the St. Louis area working tirelessly to help others who are struggling with their mental illness. This family knows all too well the devastating effects of losing a loved one to suicide, so they want to help. More to Say podcast is proud to partner with Team Jakey here in the St. Louis area with the number of events they have coming up for the rest of the year. So they're going to be hosting these events. We will be a part of it. So if you want to help out, follow Team Jakey on Facebook and keep up with us on the More to Say podcast as well. Together, along with More to Say and Team Jakey on Facebook, we can help end the stigma.
Thanks for listening to More to Say with Randy Naughton. You just heard about Team Jakey in the stigma. Hey, it's Logan from Mostly Superheroes, and we're teaming up with Team Jakey and Four Hands Brewing Company to bring you some awesome community events. Free-to-play TV and film trivia bingo. Thursday night, March 20th, and Thursday night, April 24th. Mark your calendars. Come out to Four Hands Brewery, downtown location. Doors open at 5. Bingo from 6 to 9. Play solo or with a team and have a good time with Team Jakey, Mostly Superheroes, some surprise guests, and amazing prizes from all your favorite local businesses like Steve's Hot Dogs, Four Hands Brewing Company, The Royale Food and Spirits, The Gramophone, The Voltron Store, City Winery, St. Louis, and many more. We'll see you on Thursday night, either March 20th or April 24th. Come out for TV and film trivia bingo and find all of our event information at mostlysuperheroes.com/events.
Hey everyone, it's Randy. Want to win some free stuff? Who doesn't? Hey, we've got some Lion's Choice gift cards to give away for you. We recently sat down with Lion's Choice CEO Fred Bermer in the original Lion's Choice location. It's a fascinating conversation about this St. Louis brand, which is now expanding regionally, of course. So, how do you win the gift cards? You can comment on this post and tag a friend, and you can get some bonus entries by subscribing to More to Say with Randy Naughton on your podcast app or subscribing on my YouTube channel. So there is no purchase necessary. You must be 18 years of age and restrictions apply. So good luck. Hopefully you'll be munching on Lion's Choice soon. See you on the podcast. You know, fast forward to I mean, heavens, 50 year or 40 years now. It is the actual 30th anniversary of your album called A Boy Named Goo. And you look back on that and you're like, and I can't believe it. It's been that long. Do you look back and say, wow, look at the things that we've done?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I think, we're busy always. You know, um, we're constantly making new albums. We're constantly doing tours. I just got back from Florida. We were doing some shows there, and I leave for Australia in a few days, and I'll be home for 8 days. And I go do a show in Los Angeles, and then go to South Africa, and we're in South Africa for a week, and then we come back to the States and do almost 2.5 months worth of shows. So, I mean, we're really busy,
That's
and so,
awesome.
yeah. And I think, people often ask, like, like when a song breaks, like when Name broke and stuff, they often ask, like, what was it like when that happened, and I honestly have to say, I was so busy. Like, I was just worrying about getting to the next day. I wasn't really, um, focused on, wow, my band's like blowing up or anything. I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to wake up tomorrow and do this again? Um, and I think if you're producing and producing music and being creative, you know, you're quite often too busy to sit back and actually go, wow, this is pretty crazy. But I think every once in a while you have to, because if you don't, I think you lose
Yeah.
perspective.
And I think once you get to a certain age, creativity never takes a break. I don't care what your biological clock says, right? That's
Hmm.
why even after a
Hmm.
40-year TV news career, I'm like, I still want to create stuff, which is why we're sitting here today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So you mentioned your tour. It's called the Summer Anthem Tour, which, by the way, is coming through St. Louis August 21st. So hopefully we'll get to see you. And I wanted to ask you a question about touring back then versus touring now, because the expectations of a tour, I think, based on the visuals and the social media, are so much higher than they were back in the day. You see, oh, heavens, the big anthemic productions of Lady Gaga and Taylor Swift and the dancers and the lights and the blah, blah, blah. What do you guys do to combat that? Or do you just say, you know what? We're coming out, we're playing our music. This is what we're about, and this is what we're going to do. Does anything change when you go on this tour?
Well, like people come to expect things, when they come and see shows. Like when we go and do a tour in Australia, like I just mentioned, we're going to South Africa.
Yeah.
Like, we just played in India, we do tours over in the UK and stuff. We're not bringing these huge shows over there because we just can't afford to do that.
Yeah.
So, but luckily for a band like us, like we're not dependent upon, this huge set and all this stuff because, we've got 30 songs that people want to hear,
Yeah.
it could be being generous, or it could be shorting ourselves. I don't know, but like we have a lot of songs people like to listen to, so we can go out there and all those years of driving around in a van and figuring out how to entertain people, with a rubber band and a piece of wax paper and a comb, which is basically what we were doing at the beginning. You know, um, that pays off. But then you get to step out and do a huge summer tour. And
That's awesome.
yeah, and like I said, people's attention spans are different now than they used to be. So,
Absolutely.
so you can supply some of that whiz bang and add that to your songs, but it all starts with the songs, and John's a master at that. So, we've got a good selection of stuff
No
to
doubt.
to
No
bang
doubt.
people over the head with.
But you guys are now working on your 15th album, your
Mm.
15th studio album. So on this tour, will we get the names and the irises and some of the new stuff? What can we expect when we see you in St. Louis?
Yeah, we've that's a delicate dance always. You don't want to lose folks, but you also don't want to uh take the opportunity to play them some new music, so they can experience it. It's the way listening, like on demand listening, the way it is now, it's much different than like when radio was king. Like you were fed a song
Right.
over and over again. People get to choose what they want to hear now. It's a pretty cool way of doing it. It's also tough to make money, but
Yeah.
it's a really cool uh creative tool for people. I mean, I walk around daily, with I'm looking for my phone, but I can't find it. With my entire record library in my pocket. So
That's amazing.
yeah, Spotify and such. All the streaming services. Like I think they really allowed us to open ourselves up, to hearing more stuff. But I think also it's allowed people to sort of narrow down what they like to listen to too. I know some people who listen to a couple playlists for years, and that's what they love, and that's awesome. And I hope we're on it.
What okay, here's something. What is your favorite Goo Goo Dolls song?
Mine.
Yeah. To perform, to listen to.
I think to perform, we always like we always play slide like really early in the
Love that.
set, and like if there's anybody in the room, like everybody in the room knows that song.
Yeah.
So like it's always a great moment in the show because you see you see people's quizzical, look, for a couple songs, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh yeah, we know that one." It's so that's a great song. I don't know, my favorite Goo Goo Dolls song. That's a tough one, man.
Yeah.
I think it's like asking you which one of your favorite kids is. It's like I might
I
know,
know.
but I probably wouldn't tell you.
I know what that is for me. It's my daughter, Alex, who I only have one child,
Yeah,
and
I
that's
do too.
Alex.
I do
Yeah.
too. One and done in our family.
And I have one daughter. She's 31, and I do need to share this story, which she just told me this yesterday. My daughter and her husband are going through surrogacy, and they're hopefully next time going to have a daughter, and the girl's name is going to be Iris. And she
Oh, that's
said,
so nice.
"Mom, that is my favorite song of all time." She just told me this yesterday. I knew Iris was going to be the name, but I said, "Are you kidding me? I didn't." I said, "Do you mind if I share that with Robbie?" And she goes, "No, let him know." So, fingers crossed,
Oh,
that
that's
everything
really
goes
nice.
well in surrogacy, and
Yeah.
hopefully I'll be having a little granddaughter named Iris
Oh, that's
based on
really
your
nice.
song, which that just kind of gives me goosebumps.
That's cool.
We've gotten all sappy in our 60s, haven't we, Robbie?
You know what, man? I cry at oatmeal commercials, man. It's yeah.
Creators do that. People who I know who are creative definitely do that. So, is there anything else that we need to know about what you guys are up to? Obviously, constantly working. You're hitting the road for the tour. Something that we should expect from you guys before you come to St. Louis. When is the new album going to be released?
Well, as soon as we finish it, we're actually in the midst of we're still kind of writing for it right now. So, but things happen quickly these days.
Well, Robbie, I cannot thank you enough for joining us on More to Say with Randy Naughton. After 40 years in the news business, I have more to say, and I have interesting people to talk to like yourself. It was really great walking down memory lane with you, those beginning days back in Buffalo. It was really great to talk to you.
Absolutely. And maybe when we're in St. Louis, we can take a stop by City Museum. It's one of my favorite places on the planet. So
I will make that happen for you. I know them. So
yeah,
yes,
I
that is,
love that place, man.
we
And
will.
last time I brought my daughter there, she was a little too young to go down the slide. She was scared to go in them. So
Yeah, my
so
daughter was
so
like that too.
so now that I'm on the edge of being a little too old, we need to get this done soon.
We will do it. Well, Robbie,
All
thank
right,
you. And for everybody who follows the Goo Goo Dolls, we will tag you. We will share on social medias. We would like everyone to like and subscribe. Thank you
great.
so much for joining us
Great.
on More to
Oh,
Say.
and
Yes, sir.
one last thing, check out musicisart.org. It's a organization that I started 20 some years ago here in Buffalo, and we help the arts here. So if anybody's interested in that, please check it out, musicisart.org.
We will put up a slate for everybody, and I will tag that as well. So thanks for joining us. We appreciate your time.
All right, see you later, Randy. Thank you.
I cannot thank you enough for joining us on More to Say. Don't forget, if you're watching or listening, follow me on all social media platforms. You see the little icons down below. And of course, we'd like to thank all of our sponsors, STL Medical Weight Loss, the Lemp Mansion in St. Louis, one of the most haunted places in all of St. Louis, one of our newest sponsors, Team Jakey, which is a mental health and suicide prevention organization, which is doing amazing things for people in the St. Louis region. And of course, the Mostly Superheroes podcast, starring my podcast partner, Logan Janis. So make sure you follow us everywhere. And thanks for joining us. Until next time.
This has been More to Say with Randy Naughton. Interesting conversations with interesting people. Be sure to like or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.